Hello everybody and welcome back. Today I want to talk about big guitar arrangements, symphonic sounding guitar productions. How do you sound big? How do you sound symphonic? Well, it has to do with how you play, it has to do with the gear you choose, your guitar, your amp, your cabinet, and your microphone, all that kind of stuff. But it also has to do with how you layer your tracks, with how many tracks you record and what you play. Today, I want to show you two very unique and interesting ways to make your guitar arrangement a lot more interesting and probably a lot bigger. Here we go. These days, we're all working with modern DAWs. That means we have endless tracks. So we can record metal the old school way, but we can also go crazy. We can add a lot of tracks. We can layer a lot of tracks and do some experiments. And today I want to introduce you to a friend of mine and colleague of mine called Mendel by Delay. He used to be the guitarist in Aborted. That's how we know each other. We did some records together with the death metal band Aborted, but he also loves symphonic metal and he's known for going crazy with like guitar layers and stuff. And for example, he does this thing where he splits up the chords of the rhythm guitar into the single notes, and then he plays those single notes one octave higher, doubled with a lot of reverb, with a lot of different lead guitars, which creates some kind of choir or string effect that is really interesting. He does stuff like that, ends up with a lot of tracks, but uses guitar arrangements, yeah, like keyboards or like choirs. But I think he can explain it a lot better. So Mendel, please take over. What is it again?
Layering full chords with lead guitar in a stereo image. And I'll clarify this into depth, into detail later on. So we have the bass guitar, we're just playing the root notes. Then we have the riff, or like the main rhythm guitar is left and right, playing the full chords. And then what I like to do is basically support those chords with high note leads, with a lot of reverb and delay, almost sounding like a synth or a pad supporting the whole entire mix. Now here's what I'm going to record. Again, the chords we had was B minor, G major, A major, and F dominant. And what I'm going to do is record the same chords basically on the upper register. I am not a big fan of the sound of playing chords with distortion, multiple notes simultaneously like this. But if I record every note separately, it would sound much cleaner because now you're getting all this distortion, like multiple notes through one mono microphone, which is basically the pickup. I don't like the sound of that. So what I'm going to do is record every note of the chord separately, 3 times left, 3 times right, and then pan those differently mixing. So maybe like the pyramid again. So one could be like left 50%, right 50%, 75 left, 75 right, and then maybe 90. We'll see that during the mixing process. Okay, so now we're going to do the higher part. So that one seems okay. That sounds better.
So what you've just watched was a little part of a course that Mendel just did inside my academy. The whole course is something like 1.5 hours long, where he shows exactly how he composes, how he records, and how he mixes those tracks in order to create something huge. If you are interested in that course, there's a link below. It's called the Guitar Arranging Metal Masterclass. Link below, get that course. I think it's $29. Or, as usual, become a member of Kohle Audio Kult and get all our courses from day one. Another link below. Become a member, that's the smarter solution. But let's get back to Mendel. There's this other technique that he's also showing in the course. And this is more for you guys playing more brutal riffing. And in this technique, he adds octaves to his rhythm guitars, but records them with a darker sounding tone with his neck pickup in order to change, I would call it the texture of the guitar tone and to make it more three-dimensional. Let's just have a look.
All right, so now we're gonna focus on a recording thing I do that has to do with octaves, especially like doubling rhythm parts. So let's just first listen to a bit of music. So this is from my song called The Butterfly Principle from my, well, now latest solo album called Equilibrium. Let's just first take a listen and then I'll elaborate and then we'll go into some mixing of these guitars. But pay attention to the part when this stuff comes in. I'll put it a bit more in screen, as you can see. All of that goodness. And yes, so there are 8 layers of guitars here. So I'll just press play, but pay attention when this comes in. Here we go. So a lot of things happen during that part, and let me elaborate a bit. And I'll first play the main riff slowly, so you can have a kind of a grasp on what's happening. So this is the main riff. So that's the main riff. So then what I like to do is add harmonies to that. So instead of, it would be, let me think. That kind of stuff. So basically the minor and major thirds. So when you have a scale, you play like that minor and major third note constantly during the whole riff. So what I like to do sometimes, and that's basically the demonstration of this, so you have that main riff, right? So let me just solo that part first. So this part. Okay, so that's the main guitar riff. So then comes the harmony. So now comes some extra layers. So basically everything that's happening there on those main guitars is doubled on the neck pickup of the guitar an octave higher. So instead of it's neck pickup, So basically that. Also the harmony. So that is basically this part, and I'll solo it. This. So this is on the neck pickup, so it becomes a bit more fuller. But since we're on the higher part of the register of the guitar, it doesn't get like woolly, because rhythm normally you don't want to play on your neck pickup when it comes to metal, at least. But when I play higher, I like to use the neck pickup. And both of those together sounds like this. And I'll play it a bit before of just the harmonic guitar before, so you can have a grasp on what's happening before. So here we go. Now, one very important thing with this, which I like to do, I like to use, especially with stuff like this, is use a different guitar sound on the lead part. So this is like a capture of a Ritchie Blackmore amp and EVH 5153. But all of this is a Mesa Boogie Mark V, which is a bit more less brittle, more mid-focus, as you can tell. So when I'll mix both, the source, which is the most important thing, already has almost like a spot of their own. So let's take one listen again, both of them with the drums and the bass. All right, and now let's mix these guitars. All right, so let's start with the rhythm guitar. So I'm going to mute these for now. And let's take a listen first. So I hear some high-end fizz. So this is one of my favorite EQs, the SSL EV2 from Waves. Really, really great SSL plugin. So what I'm just gonna do during the playback, I'm gonna look for that whistle frequency or that nastiness that I don't like, and then just remove it. So here we go. Around that area. So it really cleans it up. What I like to do, I like to boost it so I can find it, and then sometimes just all the way down, so the guitar tone becomes really shitty, but just don't pull it back in, but then just stop at the point where I'm like, oh, that's where I start hearing it again. And sometimes what I do is put the shelf on an SSL all the way down to 1.5 and then just boost a bit so it becomes a bit more forward. So in solo, this is our difference. That's way cleaner. And now if I'd like to keep those palm mutes in check, I like to use Pro MB, because when I hit palm mutes, there's like a big boom, like upwards around between 100 and 200 Hertz. So with a multi-bed compressor, every time when it hits up, I'm like pushing it down. I still hear one tiny whistle frequency, so I'm going to use Pro Q3 to fix that. So now comes these solo things, like the octave doubled, the entire riff doubled but an octave higher. And panning wise, I have the main ones a bit wider, so it's left 60, R60, and this one's like L50 and R50. And let's just see, like, find the right balance. That sounds good. I have to do some automation later, but first, mixing wise, I can definitely tell there's an oomphy thing that I just need to remove because it's quad-tracked on those higher notes. So let's see what's going up with something in the lower mids. So it's definitely this big peak here. That sounds way better. That big oomphy thing is gone, but the foundation, the note foundation, is still there. Now, just for the variety, I'm going to try to use Soothe, which is a great plugin, to remove some of that upper mid nastiness. Sounds about right, and I think that's it for these guitars. Perhaps to keep those lower mids even more in check, perhaps besides that EQ I did, a tiny bit of low mid multiband. So let's do it before and after. So this is what it was before. Love how it sounds. And just to give those high ones a bit more depth, I'm gonna add Kohle Epic and put it on the same preset that I always use. And let's use the mix knob just to see where it sits nicely.
I just love stuff like that. That was really inspiring, you know, and we all have endless tracks today and we can all go crazy, get inspired by Mendel and do stuff like that and make metal sound more symphonic. All right, so this was a little inspiration for you. If you really want to dive deep into this, check out Mendel's course for 29 bucks. It also includes Mendel's multitrack. He's exactly showing every detail about the recording process, but also the mixing process, how he EQs stuff and how he adds effects. Kind of interesting. Or become a member of Kohle Audio Kult, like a few hundred other really sexy people. Subscribe to this channel. Stay tuned for more fancy videos, guitar videos, mixing videos, recording videos. There's so much stuff I have to do. I'm too busy with real studio work still to do more YouTube videos, but there's so much gear piling up over here. I have to do more videos. Anyway, thanks for watching. I see you in hell, motherfuckers. Bye-bye.